We begin today at the Mishnah on the top of Daf Kuf Yud Amud Aleph. Sagt the Heilige Mishnah, Hamoitzi shtar chayav chavere. Person takes out a document of a loan that his friend owes him money. V'hala, now his friend takes out Hoitzi shemachalo esasada. That you, this person, this creditor that's demanding money from him, you sold me a property. So Adman says, so this buyer of this property that this person is trying to collect a loan from him can say, if in fact I owed you money, like the shtar says, you should have got your loan paid up when you sold me this field. I paid you money for it. You should have kept the money and kept the field as well, because I owed you this money. The fact that you sold me this field and you gave me the field for this money means that what's written in the shtar is not true. And Rashi actually says, either he's arguing and saying that the shtar is mezuyif, the shtar is a forgery, or he says the shtar is perua, it's paid up. Other Rishonim disagree with this. You can't argue that the shtar is a forgery if it's a shtar that's verified, but that's what Rashi says. The Chachamim say, fact that he bought a property from him is no proof that he doesn't owe money. This person is smart. He sold him this property because now he can take this property from the loiva as a collateral for his loan. Meaning, up until this point, possibly the loiva wouldn't have a way to pay him, and even if he owned valuables, he can get rid of them, so the malva shouldn't be able to collect from them. So the malva sells him this property. Now he has this property, and you can get a collection. You can get paid from this property for your loan. That's what his plan was. So the Gemara, my time of the Rabbanan. What is the reasoning of the Rabbanan? Shape ka'am Adman. Adman's right. Adman is saying, why would he sell him the property in the first place? If he's getting money from him, why would he give him this property? So Chachamim are saying, no, he sold it to him so he can take a collateral. Why does he have to go through all of that? Very simple. Right now he's paying you money for this property. Keep the money because he owes you money, and keep the property as well. So the Gemara explains as follows. Ba'asre diya vizuzi v'hoda kosvishtara. If it's in a place where the custom is that first people pay for the property that they're buying, so this person is getting the money right away, and only afterwards, afterwards they write the shtar, afterwards he gives the shtar to the buyer, so then kula amalei pligi, so nobody would argue that Adman is right, the matzi amalei, so therefore the buyer could say to him, you should have kept the money and not given me the shtar, and you would have gotten paid up your loan. The fact that you took the money and afterwards you still went and wrote a shtar and gave me the shtar, that proves that I don't owe you the money. Ki pligi, where is there an argument here between Adman and the Chachamim? Ba'asra the kosvishtara v'hada yavizuzi. In a place where the custom is that first you write a shtar, you give the buyer the shtar, and after he receives the shtar, he pays for the property he's buying. So Adman says, even in such a case where you have to first you have to give the shtar and then you get the money, but nevertheless, when you're writing the shtar and you're giving the buyer the shtar, you should have notified to other people. You should have notified Eidim that you're not really selling the property because you want to sell them the property. You're only selling the property so you should be able to collect it back for your loan. Should have made it clear in advance. So therefore, the fact that you didn't is a raya that I don't owe you the money. Rabbanan say that he can't do that because that a person has a friend that will know about this, and then your friend's friend knows about this, and it'll get back to the buyer, and he's not going to agree to this sale knowing that you're only selling it to him to collect it back. So therefore, you had to quietly sell it to him, and then, like Rabbanan said, you're planning to take it back for your loan. Two people take out a document of a loan, each one on the other. Reuven says to Shimon, you owe me money. And then Shimon takes out a document of a later date and says, look, no, you borrowed money, you owe me money. So what do we do now? Admin says that Ilu Hayisi that the person with the second document says that the first document, the loan that you have from an earlier date, is not true. Because if in fact I owed you money, how would you lend me money after this? You would have why did you come and borrow money from me? If I owe you the money, you shouldn't be borrowing money from me. You should just take the money as a payment. Fact that you're borrowing money from me after this date that you show that I borrowed money from you, it must be that it's not true. I never owed you money, and therefore you came later and borrowed money from me. So therefore it proves that only the second loan is true. Chachamim say no. Each one will come and collect what it says in their shtar, what they are owed. Okay, the Gemara will explain exactly in what case there is a machlekes here between Adben and the Chachamim. But first the Gemara brings a machlekes Amiroim, which will be a machlekes according to the Chachamim. Itmar, so we learned the following machlekes. Shnaim sheitzi shtar chayv zel zeh, two individuals that took out a shtar one on the other, like it said in the Mishnah. So Rav Nachman says, Zeh goive v'zeh goive. If the amount that Reuven owes Shimon and the amount that Shimon owes Reuven is equal, doesn't matter. Each one goes and collects a property from the other one for his loan. Rav Shesha says, even if we pass like the Chachamim, let's say that both of them can collect for their loan, but they don't actually go ahead and collect, because hafuchi matrase lamali. To go and switch these properties, there's no purpose here. Literal translation of hafuchi matrase means person that's carrying two packages on two sides of his shoulder, and they both are equally as heavy. So to change the packages from one side to the other, you're not gaining anything. It's the same thing, same weight. So over here as well, if you have these two properties that they owe each other and the same amount of a loan, what's the point of each one of them exchanging their properties if they end up with the same thing? Now that they both owe each other the same amount of money, so each one keeps the property they have and consider that is paid in full. So the Gemara explains exactly when they're arguing. What's the basis of the machlekes and in what case Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshes are arguing. Before we go right in the Gemara, the premise of this next piece of Gemara is the Takanas Chachamim that a Malveh collects for his loan from a Beinanis property. There are three qualities of properties. Idis, the best, Beinanis, medium, and Ziburis, the low quality of a property. For a loan, you have the right to collect from a medium quality property. So the Gemara explains as follows. The Kul Alma, everybody would agree, Idis ve'idis. If these two individuals own the exact same quality property, both of them own a good quality property. Or Beinanis or Beinanis, they both own a medium quality property. Ziburis or Ziburis, they both own a low quality property. So definitely Rav Sheshes is right. Having each one collect the property from the other is just switching the package, which is the same weight. There's no gain here. So leave it where it is. Ki pligi, when is the machlokes here? Between Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshes, the islay lechad beinanis. One of them owns beinanis, his quality of the property as is beinanis, or lechad ziburis. And the other one has a quality of property which is ziburis. So now the question becomes, when we define a property as beinanis or ziburis, according to what do we go? Are we going to define them as beinanis and ziburis based on market value, whatever it is out there for everybody? Or is it according to the owner right now of this property? What is it for him? Is it his beinanis? Is it his ziburis? That's the question. How do we define this? And that will be the difference between Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshes. As the Gemara explains. Rav Nachman's opinion is that here each one of them will collect a property for their loan because something will change here. It's not the same quality property. Because Kesavar, Rav Nachman's opinion is b'shaloi hein shaman. When you evaluate what's considered to be beinanis, you're going to look according to the owner right now, what he has in his possession. What is his medium property? And that's what the Baal Chayv will have the right to collect. And therefore what it comes out of here is as follows. Asi Baal Ziburis. The one that owns the Ziburis property comes to collect his loan, and the Gavi Leila Beinanis. And he collects the property from his friend that owes him, and he collects the Beinanis. That's the only property his friend has, and it's a Beinanis, and that's what he collects. Now, the Have Gabei, this, even if in the market value, this property is Beinanis, but now, this person that just collected this property, he owns two properties. He owns this Beinanis property just collected, and he owns a Ziburis property. But since this Beinanis property just collected is the best property that he owns, so for him, if B'shaloy Ein Shamin, this is his Idis. So now, if the other person wants to come, the other person that now wants to collect from him his loan, he can't take back that bain in his property, because now for this person, this is his idis. So which one is he going to collect? He's going to have to take the second property, Vishakol Ziburis. He's going to get Ziburis. So the point is that something does change here when they are collecting from each other. The one that had Beinanis ends up with Ziburis, and the one that had Ziburis ends up with Beinanis. That's what Rav Nachman says. They both collect for their loan. Rav Sheshes says there's no point in exchanging the properties here. When you evaluate what do we consider to be beinonus, you go by market value. So it doesn't matter what this person owns right now. This beinonus that he just collected, even if for him it's his best property, but in market value, this is the beinonus. So the other person you owe money to, it goes straight back to him, to this person that you just collected from. So there's no reason to go back and forth. You leave it where it is. Fragt die Gemara, Sof ki asem, or this is part of the conclusion of what Rav Sheshes says. Because Sof in the end, what's going to happen? Ki asahu beinin is the nafshei kashakel. So when ki asahu, when this second person is going to come to collect his loan, so what is he going to do? Beinin is nafshei kashakel. The beinin is that he just paid to the Baal Ziburis. He's going to just take it right back. That's the market value. It is beininus, and so we'll take it back. Fragt the Gemara. Ula Rav Nachman. The way we just explained to Rav Nachman that there will be a change when we allow each one of them to collect the property, but the question is, the way we described it, one owns Ziburis, one owns Beininus. My chazis ta'asi Baal Ziburis Bereisha. Why? What do you see? Why is it that the one that owns Ziburis, he's the one that came first to collect? And therefore we say that he collects the Beininus, and now that Beininus, because for him it's his best property, becomes the Idis. How do you know that the Baal Ziburis is collecting first? Leisi Baal Beininus Bereisha. Let the Baal Beininus collect first. And if the Baal Beininus collects first, then what is he collecting? He's collecting Ziburis, and the Baal Beininus collects from the one that owns the Ziburis. So he collects the Beininus. Again. Leisi Baal Beininus Bereisha v'ligbi Ziburis. Yeah, so the Gemara exposes it out here. The Baal Beininus will come, and he's going to collect the Ziburis, and then v'laheder v'ligbi nehalei. And then this person is going to go and collect it right back. So there's nothing to be gained over here. If the Baal Beininus is the one that collects first, so then what is there to be gained over here? He's collecting the Ziburis, and the one that he just collected it from is going to take it right back. That's the second quality field that he now has. He can't take the Beininus, which is for him Idis. So he's going to take back this very field that he just took. So the point is, why are we setting up this case that the Baal Ziburis collects first, and then there's a change in the properties here? If the Baal Beininus collects first, so then that Ziburis property that he just collected is going right back. And says the Gemara, so we're going to have to say the case of their machlokes is Lo tzricha de kodem tovei. The Baal Ziburis demanded his money first. He came to the Bezdin. He's the Teveya that came to collect his money first. So therefore he's collecting the Beininus first. And therefore he stays with his Beininus that he just collected, and he gives to the other one back Ziburis. That's the case. Fragt the Gemara, even if he came and was Teveya first, it shouldn't make a difference. Sof, in the end of the day, ki asu lemigbi, when they're coming to collect, when he came to demand his money first, but when he comes to collect his property, bahadi adadi kasu, so now they're really both in the same position. The moment he comes to collect, he says, then wait a minute, just like you're demanding from me, I demand from you. So at this point, they're coming together to collect from each other. So you can't really say that one is before the other. They both stand to lose or have the exact same demand over here. So why should we say that the Baal Ziburis is collecting first before the Baal Beininus? So therefore the Gemara changes the case. Ella, you're right. We'll have to say the case of the argument where there will be a difference according to Rav Nachman, no matter who comes to collect first, is the following case. Idis u one of them has two properties, Idis and Beininus. Ziburis. And the other one has only Ziburis. So in this case, Marsav Rav Nachman holds b'shaloi hein shaman. You always evaluate according to what he has in his property right now. So if you go according to what he has in his property right now, it will not make a difference who comes to collect first. There'll be a difference here. So if the Baal Ziburis comes and collects the Beininus first, so he's going to have now, Beininus is going to become his Idis. That's his best property now. He only has two properties now, Beininus and Ziburis. So now what is he going to give back to the other person that had the Beininus and the Idis? He's going to give him back Ziburis. That's if the Baal Ziburis collects first. If the Baal Idis and Beininus collects first, same thing's going to happen. He's going to collect Ziburis, and he's going to keep that Ziburis, and he's going to have to give back Beininus, because now he has three properties. Idis, Beininus, and Ziburis. He's going to have to give back Beininus to the other person. So either way, there's going to be an exchange here of Ziburis with Beininus, no matter who collects first. This is the reason why Rav Nachman says that they do both go and collect. But then, this is Rav Nachman. Omar Savar, Rav Sheshes holds, V'shal Koladam and Shaman, as we explained before, we evaluate the property of being Beininus according to the market value. It doesn't matter what this individual has. So you collect baininess, you'll give right back the baininess. So there's no point in having them collect. Tanan, what did it say in the Mishnah? The Mishnah says that in this case, when two people owe each other money, it's the same amount of money they owe each other, both of them collect money. So the Mishnah's Lashon seems to say, exactly like Rav Nachman, that they both actually go ahead and collect. Rav Nachman, I'll leave it at Rav Sheishes. So Rav Nachman explained when we could apply the case of the Mishnah. According to Rav Sheishes, that they both will collect. One of them collected, and the time when he has to pay his loan is after 10 years. And the other person, the time that he has to pay is after 5 years. Right? So in such a case, if the time of the loan is not up yet, so therefore he has the ability to go and collect for at least for this 5 years. He's going to gain by going and collecting for this time. So therefore, the Mishnah says that there's a point in him coming to collect. So the Gemara asks on this. Just a second. Hey Chidami. So now, if we're explaining that this is what the Mishnah is speaking about, and therefore he's coming to collect for those 5 years, he's going to gain by collecting. If so, what's the case? How are we going to explain the machlokes between Admain and the Chachamim? Is the case over here that the first one borrowed and he has to pay in 10 years, and the second one comes now to borrow and he has to pay after 5 years. In such a case, Lema Admain, is Admain going to say Ilu Ayisi Chayev Locha, that the second one can come and argue and say that if it's true that I owed you money, so then why now is it that you're coming to borrow from me? How could he say such an argument? The reason why he borrowed is because the time for the payment of his loan, it is not here yet. He has to wait another 5 years, or for him it was 10 years. So therefore he is borrowing now because he has no choice. The other person that doesn't owe him the money yet. Elo, so what are you going to say the case is in the reverse? Risha in Lachamish. It's the first one that borrowed only for 5 years. Visheni Laser. The second one borrowed for 10 years. And therefore the one that borrowed for 10 years, so there's a point, or the one that borrowed for 5 years, that is, there's a point of him collecting for his loan after 5 years because he's going to gain those 5 years that he can collect. But still the question is, hey Chidami, what's the case here? In which case are Admain and Chachamim arguing? If the one that borrowed 5 years, so the time of the 5 years had arrived and the second person owes him this money, so then my time of the Rabbanan. What's the reason of the Rabbanan? Why would the Rabbanan say that both could collect from each other? Adman is saying a very good svara. The time of the loan to pay it up has arrived. So why are you borrowing money from me? If I actually owed you the money, you should have collected the money. The time of the loan came. And if the time of the loan did not arrive, so the time did not arrive yet. Or my time at Admain. So then what's the reason of Admain? Why is Admain saying that the second person says, why are you borrowing money from me? What do you mean why I'm borrowing money from you? Because I borrowed before the time of 5 years came that I could collect from you. So I was forced to borrow from you. Okay, so either way, we have a difficulty understanding what's the machlokes between Chachamim and Admain if we're going to give these dates over here, 5 years and 10 years. So the Gemara explains, according to this pshat, we'll say as follows: the Asa Bahu Yoimed the Mishlam Chomish, that he came to borrow money from him on the actual day itself that the loan was up, on the last day. There's 1 day left. So Mar Savar, so the Chachamim say, Avedinish the Yazef L'Yoime. Sometimes a person, right now, for this second, he needs the cash, so it's possible that a person will borrow money even just for 1 day. Therefore, the fact that he borrowed money does not in any way prove that he didn't owe him money. Marsa, that's a chachamim. Marsa, but Admin says, it's not a common thing. Such a thing does not happen. A person will borrow the money for just 1 day. Let him wait 1 more day until at night, and then he'll be able to collect his loan that he's owed. Why is he borrowing money for? This proves that he's not owed the money. That's Admin. Rami Bachama says a different shot. Why it says in the Mishnah that that they can collect, even though according to Rav Sheishes, there's no point in collecting afuchim matras alami. So Rami Bachama says, Hacha b'yasmi askinan. In our Mishnah, we're speaking about that one of them passed away, and now they're Yisaimim. The Yasmi migba gavi agbuye loy magbina minaya. The rule regarding Yisaimim is that the Yisaimim, they could collect a loan from someone else, but you can't collect from them. if they don't have, if all they have is metaltalin, you can't collect from them anything. So over here, what it's saying is, even though they owe each other money, so what's the point of them collecting from each other? Not in a case by Yisaimim. By a case of Yisaimim, so the Yisaimim could collect, and the other ones will not be able to collect from them. Fragte Gemara, sorry. But in the Mishnah it says both of them are collecting. So how could you say that the pshat in the Mishnah is that one of them is collecting, the Yisaimim are collecting, but you can't collect from the Yisaimim? Says the Gemara, Zeh goyve v'zeh roilig bais. The Mishnah doesn't mean that they both actually collect. The Yisaimim collect, and the ones that want to collect from the Yisaimim, they should be able to collect, but in actuality they can't. They won't be able to collect from the Yisaimim. But he won't be able to. But Rava says in this teretz of Rami Bacham shtei tshuvas b'dover. There are two answers, two reasons why I can't accept this pshat. Chada number one, he goes back to this diog. Zeh goyve v'zeh goyve katani. The Mishnah says that they're both collecting from each other. V'oid ligbinu arale yasmi. If this is what's happening here, so then let him pay the Yisaimim this karka that they want to collect for their loan. And then what happens? V'leheder v'ligbenu minayu. And then they'll be able to go and collect it back and keep this karka. So they're not going to have a loss. What are you arguing? Rabbi Bacham is saying over here that in this case, there's going to be only one of them. Only the Yisaimim could collect, but you can't collect from the Yisaimim. That's why it's saying Zeh goyve. The Mishnah is coming to say that the people that want to collect from the Yisaimim are going to be stuck. They're going to be stuck with the loss. But the Gemara says, why? Let them allow the Yisaimim to collect this karka, and then they should be allowed to go back right away and collect this karka from the Yisaimim. You're going to say they just got this karka now. Is it meshubah to the loan? Could they collect it back? So the Gemara brings yes, and this is something we had already earlier in the Masechta. Rav Nachman, Rav Nachman, Rabbi Baravur. Rav Nachman said in the name of Rabbi Baravur, Yisaimim shegovu karka b'choyves avian. Yisaimim that collected a property for the choyv that was owed to their father. Now, bal choyv choyzev v'goyv yisamehen. A balchayv that they owe money to can come along and collect this property from them. So over here as well, let them just take the property right back, which basically means there's no point in collecting and then giving it back. So we're back to the question of Rav Sheshes, Safuchim atras alamali. Why is the Mishnah saying they both collect? There's no point over here at all. Says the Gemara Kashi. So this remains like a question on the answer of Rami Bachame. Says the Gemara, but why is there a question? Why don't we say and explain that Rami Bacham is right, that it's a case with Yisaimim? And let's explain it as follows. The Islu Yasmi Ziburis. The Yisaimim have a property of Ziburis in their possession. Idis Ubeninis. And this individual that they want to collect money for, the loan that was owed to the father, what does he have? He has Idis and Beninis. So the Azli Yasmi and Gavu Beninis. So the Yisaimim, they will go and collect from this person Beinanis. Okay, so they get Beinanis. Again, like we said before, any loan, you always collect Beinanis. But now, when this person wants to come collect his loan, what is he collecting back? He's not going to take back the Beinanis, he's actually going to take only Ziburis. Why? You're going to say, look at the properties that they have right now. So the Gemara spells out the inami b'shal kaladam hin shamin. Even if you're going to say that we go like Rav Sheshes here, right? And Rav Sheshes says that you look at the market value. What is considered to be baininess in the market? So if this is a loan and the Yisaimim just collected baininess in the market value, so now this person should be able to take the baininess right back, like we just quoted before in the name of Rav Nachman, that he could take it right back. Says the Gemara, no, but we're dealing with Yisaimim. And by Yisaimim, there's another rule. The rule always is, whenever you're collecting anything from Yisaimim, you could only collect from Ziburis, the lowest quality of property. So therefore, it's going to come out that there is a point in Zeh v'zeh goyve. Again, this is explaining the Mishnah according to Rav Sheshes. Why according to Rav Sheshes does the Mishnah say Zeh goyve shtar chayve v'zeh goyve shtar chayve? Even though Rav Sheshes said there's no point of fuchim atrasi, you're not gaining anything. But if we're going to say speaking about Yisaimim, so then we could say the Yisaimim are collecting Beinanis, and they have also Ziburis in their possession, and now this person will collect back from them only Ziburis. So there is a point there. So why didn't we answer this way? So the Gemara says, no, this answer would not work according to Rav Sheshis if we're going the way of Rami Bachamas Pshare with Yisaimim. Because why? Hanimili. When do we say that you only collect from Yisaimim Ziburis? Hechedele Tofas. That's if you come to Bezdin and you're evaluating what am I allowed to collect. So Bezdin says you can only take Ziburis. And you didn't go and grab it on your own. Aval Hechede Tofas. But if you go and grab on your own from Yisaimim or Bain in his property, what you grab, you can keep. So over here, the Bain in his property you actually have already. There's no point in giving it to the Yisaimim and then taking it back. You currently have it already. So that's like considered that you already grabbed it. So the question still remains, even if we're going to say that we're speaking about Yisaimim, what's the point of the Yisaimim collecting the Baininist and then the Baininist goes back because they essentially grabbed it, they have it, so just keep it where it is. So therefore, we're stuck with a question. I mean, Rami Bachamas Pshat does not really fit in the Mishnah according to Rav Sheshis. There are three different lands, three different sections that are divided into three different territories in Eretz Yisrael when it comes to the subject of marriage, which is the question of where's the chassan allowed to take his kala to live. Yehuda, section of Yehuda, Ever Yardin, the other side of the Yardin, and the Vagol, further in the north, the Golol. And the halacha is, person cannot take his wife to come from one city to another city, or mikrach lekrach from one large city. Krach is an even larger city where you have big marketplaces, mikrach lekrach. Now when it says here in the Mishnah, mikrach lekrach, this means you're not allowed to take her from one land in Eretz Yisrael to another land in Eretz Yisrael when you're going from one city to another city, but taking her to a different land in Eretz Yisrael. Aval ba'isaaretz. But if you want to change your location to live in the same land, the same section of Eretz Yisrael, so that might see him year, you can bring her and you can force her to come live with you in a different city, or mikrach lekrach, or to live. She was living in one large city, she could live in another large city, as long as it's in the same land. But you cannot force your wife to come and live with you. She was previously living in a smaller city, to come live with you in a very large city, or the reverse, not to go from a large city to a small city. You can bring your wife and that she should come live with you from a place which is Nova place which is a worse place to live because of the some Rishonim say this refers to the produce and the fruits that are there, that it's worse quality. L'nova yafa, to a place where it's better, it's nicer to live and there's better fruits there. You can't take it from a better place to a worse place. Rav Shimon Gamliel says doesn't make a difference. You can't change her location of living from one kind of place which is Nova Ra, which is certain inferior quality fruits, to a place where there's better quality. You bring her to a better place, it's baidik. It will test your body. It'll be difficult for you, as the Gemara will explain. We can understand why you can't force your wife to come to live from a large city to a small city. The Bikrach, Shchichi, Kol Mili, in a large city, you have everything. You have the marketplaces, everything is available there. You're going to a smaller city, so Lo Shchichi, Kol Mili. Not everything is available, so she doesn't want to live a lower quality life. Elomir Likrach, but to force her to go from a smaller city to live in a larger city, in my time, and why not? What is she losing by going to a larger city? Answers the Gemara, Mesayeh Leila Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina. This proves what Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina said. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina, Minayin sheishivas krachen kosher. How do I know living in a large city, busy, large city, kosher? It's difficult. More difficult than living in a suburb. Shanema, the pasuk says, Vayivarchu ha'am l'chol ha'anoshim, and the nation, the people, benched those people, hamisnadvim l'shavas b'Yerushalayim, that they donated, they decided to come to live in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is a large city and very busy. The fact that they chose to live in Yerushalayim was not so easy. So we see the same applies here also regarding bringing a wife from a small city to a large city. Rav Shimon Gamliel says even bringing her from a Nova Hara to Nova Hayafe, you shouldn't do that because it's baidik. So the Gemara explains, my baidik. What does it mean that this is a test for her? A person changes his habit. This is the beginning of sickness. Sickness in the stomach. The Gemara here brings the source Kosov b'Sefer ben Sira. It says in the pasuk in Sefer ben Sira. This is a sefer that was written in the times of the Nach, and it wasn't included in the Nach. I mean, the truth is over here that they bring on the side that this is really a pasuk in Mishlei. It's interesting that the Gemara quotes it from the sefer of Ben Sira. Kol yemei aniroim. All the days of a poor individual are bad. He doesn't have what to eat. Fragt the Gemara, how about Shabbos Yom Tovim? He's getting supported and he has what to eat, better meals. So how could you say all the days of his life are bad? So the answer is, like we said, that a person that changes his habit, even if it's for the better, but doesn't matter, it's a change of habit, it'll cause sickness. Ben Sira there said weiter as follows: Af leilois b'shval gagim gaga, at night, where does he live? In a house that has a low roof. Ubimroim harim karmai, and his vineyards are on the top of the mountain. So both of them are not good. And he explains there, mimitar gagim legaga, the rain that goes from other rooftops, it all drips down to his rooftop. So he ends up with all the rain by him, and it leaks into his house. And then the afa, the fertilizer that he uses for his vineyards that are at the top of the mountain, because he's at the top, so it rolls down to other vineyards, and he loses it. Everybody in your household, your wife and others, as the Gemara will explain who it refers to, you can force them to come up with you, to join you, to go to Eretz Yisrael. And you can't bring anyone down out of Eretz Yisrael to force them to come down to live in Chutz La'aretz. You can force everybody in your household to come with you to live, if you were living before in Eretz Yisrael, to live in Yerushalayim. And you can't force anybody to come out of Yerushalayim. First to men, to women, which means a wife could force her husband also to go live with her in Eretz Yisrael, as the Gemara will explain. A person married his wife in Eretz Yisrael. The Girsha Eretz Yisrael, and he also divorced her in Eretz Yisrael. So Naisin La Mimois Eretz Yisrael, for the money of the Kesubos, he gives her with the coins, with the value of the money from Eretz Yisrael. Habat Nasi Isha Eretz Yisrael, he married her in Eretz Yisrael, but the Girsha Kaputkaya, he divorced her in Kaputkaya. So Naisin La Mimois Eretz Yisrael, you give her the money, the coins that there is in Eretz Yisrael. The Rashi brings the coins in Eretz Yisrael are way less and less quality than the coins of Kaputki or Kaputkaya, which are heavier and more valuable. In the reverse, Nasisha Kaputkaya v'Girsha Eretz Yisrael, he married her in Kaputkaya, and now he divorced her in Eretz Yisrael. Still, he's going to now pay her for the Kesubos only from the money of Eretz Yisrael where he is currently. Rav Shimon Gamliel says, Naisin La Mimois Kaputkaya. He married her in Kaputkaya, he's going to have to give her money, even if he's now in Eretz Yisrael, he's divorcing her, he's going to have to give her money with the heavier coins from Kaputkaya. Nasisha b'Kaputkaya, v'Girsha b'Kaputkaya, he married her there, he divorced her there in Kaputkaya, Naisin La Mimois Kaputkaya. Everybody agrees, then he gives her the money from Kaputkaya. So, starting with the first part of the Mishnah, Akayel Mailin, it says that this person can force and bring everybody from his household up to Eretz Yisrael. Lasuye Mai, who is this coming to add? Says the Gemara, Lasuye Avodim. This means he has slaves. He's referring to Eved Ivri that he owns, so that he can force the Eved Ivri to come join him to go to Eretz Yisrael. According to a certain version, so it says in the Mishnah clearly that you can force Avodim to come with you to Eretz Yisrael. So Lasuye Mai. So who's that Koil coming to include? Says the Gemara, Lasuye Minova Yofa Lenovara. You could even force your wife to come join you, even if you're going from a place that's a beautiful place to Eretz Yisrael, which is not so beautiful, or the fruits and the produce are not so good there. Nevertheless, you can still force them to come with you. And when it says in the beginning of the Mishnah that you can't force them all to leave, to come down from Eretz Yisrael, Lasuye Mai, what is this coming to include? Lasuye Evet shebarach mechutz la'aretz la'aretz, an Evet that ran away from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz la'aretz. Damrinan lei zavnei hacha. So this Eved, he ran away from Chutz La'aretz, Eretz Yisrael, so you can't take him out. You can't force him to come back with you to Chutz La'aretz. So Damridin le'zavni hachas, sell him over here in Eretz Yisrael, and vizil, and leave him alone, and go. Mishum yeshivas Eretz Yisrael, because of the mitzvah of living in Eretz Yisrael, which will be discussed later in the Gemara Barichas, the mile of living in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so that was the first part of the Mishnah, regarding Eretz Yisrael B'chlal. Then the Mishnah said, Hakoil Malin Yerushalayim, Lasuye Mai. When it says you can force everybody to come up to Yerushalayim, so when it says Hakoil, what is this coming to add? Lasuye Minova Yafal Novara. Like it said before, we're coming to include, even if you're going from a beautiful place to a place that's not so nice. Vein Hakoil Mitziyin, when it says that you can't force anybody to come out, Lasuye Mai. Lasuye Afilim Novara Nova Yafa. This is coming to say that even if you're going to a more beautiful place outside Yerushalayim, you can't take them out. You can't force them to leave Yerushalayim. Because it said in the first case of the Mishnah regarding Eretz Yisrael B'chlal that you don't force them to come out. It says it again in the Seifa, even though it's self-understood that the same thing applies in the Seifa. In the Braisa we learned, this is to spell out what it said in the Mishnah, that this applies to Echad Anoshim ve'Echad Hanoshim. So the Braisa says, Huay Malalois, the husband says, let's go to Eretz Yisrael. V'yay Meresh Shaloi Lalis. And the wife says, no, let's stay here. We force her to join the husband to go to Eretz Yisrael. If in lav she doesn't want to join him, Teitze, B'loi Ksuba, you could divorce her and not even give her a Ksuba. The wife says she wants to go to Eretz Yisrael, and the husband is not interested in going to Eretz Yisrael. We force him to join his wife to go to Eretz Yisrael. Vim lav, if he doesn't want, he's going to have to divorce her and pay her ksuba. She says she wants to leave Eretz Yisrael, and he says he does not want to leave Eretz Yisrael. So we force her not to leave Eretz Yisrael. Vim lav, she wants to leave anyways. She'll get divorced and not get a ksuba. The husband says he wants to leave. And she says she does not want to leave. We have forced the husband not to leave him lav, and if he wants to leave anyways, he has to divorce her and pay her the ksuba. Then the Mishnah spoke about the payment for the ksuba. So he married his wife in Kaputkia, then he's divorced her in Eretz Yisrael, or he married her in Eretz Yisrael and he's divorcing her in Kaputkia. So the Mishnah says, either way, he pays her from the cheaper coins of Eretz Yisrael. Frak the Gemara, but Hagufa Kashya, this itself is a contradictory din here, because Katani, first you say, Nasi Yisha Eretz Yisrael v'gishu b'Kaputkaya, you marry her in Eretz Yisrael, and then you divorce in Kaputkaya. So Naisan Lami Mois Eretz Yisrael, you're giving her from the cheaper coins from where you got married in Eretz Yisrael. So Alma, what do I see from this halacha? Basa Shibuda Azlinan. What coins do I say you have to pay? You go according to when the shibud of the ksuba began. Where did you get married? In Eretz Yisrael. And then the next halacha you say is, no, so you should be Kaputkaya. He married her in Kaputkaya. And now the Gersh Eretz Yisrael. He's divorcing her here in Eretz Yisrael. Here you say that you pay from the money of Eretz Yisrael where he is now, where he's divorcing her today. So I see now that you're going according to the place where you are today, and when she's collecting her ksuba. So what's the story? So Rabbi answers, Mikule ksube shanukan. What it says in our Mishnah is a leniency from the ksube. Chachamim said when it comes to the payment of the ksube, we always take the lenient payment. And the reason is because kasava ksube derabanan. The Tana of this Mishnah holds the payment of the ksube is midarabanan. Then Rav Shimon Gamliel he pays her from the more expensive coins from Mois Kaputkaya where he married her. Reason is kasava ksube dairaisa. He holds that the ksube is minatayre, so he's going to have to pay her where the shibud began. Person takes out a document of a loan on his friend's Kasav by Bavel, and it says that the loan happened in Bavel. He's going to have to pay him with the money of Bavel. Kasav by Eretz Yisrael, it says in the document Eretz Yisrael, so you're paying with money from Eretz Yisrael. Kasav by Stam, doesn't say where the loan took place, where the shibud began. So I'd see a bit Bavel, if it's collecting it in Bavel, so you have to pay him now where you are with the money of Bavel. See, Eretz Yisrael took out the document in Eretz Yisrael, you pay him with the money of Eretz Yisrael. Kasav boy kesef stam. It says certain amount, but it doesn't spell out what type of coin. It just says kesef. So what is kesef? Mashiyirtze magbeyu. Mashiyirtze loive, that is magbeyu. So the loive is going to give him from any kind of kesef. There could be all kinds of coins, different countries, different currencies. Whatever you want, you give. And the Braisa concludes, Masha enkein b'ksuba. This halacha does not apply by ksuba. So the Gemara asks, Ahai, on which case is this going? When it says that this does not apply to ksuba, it can't be going on the last case here. In ksuba, we know exactly what the amount of the ksuba is. So what is this Masha enkein b'ksuba? Omerav misharshia areisha. It's going on the first case of the Mishnah. La fuke mit Rav Shimon Gamliel da maksuba deraisa, to exclude what Rav Shimon Gamliel said, that ksuba is minatayra and you follow where the shibud began. So that's what it said basically in the beginning of the Braisa. If it was written that the shibud began in Bavel, so you have to pay according to Bavel. If it began in Kaputkia, you'll have to pay according to Kaputkia. So now this Braisa is saying Masha enkein b'ksuba, that you go according to the cheaper coins where you're collecting now, not like it is with a loan. Now the Gemara goes back to what it said in the Braisa, Kosav by Kesef Stam. So Mash Yirtze Lev Magbeyu. So the Lev will give him from any kinds of coins he wants. Fragt the Gemara, but how do you know it's coins? Maybe this is bars of silver that he has to give him. It's not even coins at all. The Brais is speaking about that it says in the Shtar matbeya of kesef. We just don't know which kind of matbeya, but it's not bars of silver. Piriti. Maybe it refers to piriti, which are smaller coins, really usually copper coins, and maybe it means to give the value of silver according to these copper coins. So why does it say you give him any kind of coins of kesef, but it doesn't say give the option to give copper coins? Since the copper coins are only made in copper, they're not made ever from silver. So therefore, that's for sure what the person for sure did not mean that, and therefore he has to give him any other kinds of coins, but it has to be silver coins, not copper coins.